to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hello, world. Happy LLC Day. Welcome to the wonderful channel of Athletics LLC. So here we are again, meeting up on another wonderful evening to talk about some nonsense, some relevant, some irrelevant. It kind of depends on how it goes. But as always, I've got these three wonderful tiles to guide us through these conversations to actually make you ponder some thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. They're going to make you think. So let's start out by saying hello to these gentlemen. Sir Lucius, how are you tonight, sir?
I am rolling. I'm doing wonderful.
Good, good.
Yes.
Rolling like a tumbleweed. I like it. I'm just kidding.
I say that
I'm a one-man band. I'm rolling.
that term can mean many things depending on where you're from, sir.
Woo!
Where I'm from, it means one thing. But other stuff,
prickly.
Get out of that, my man.
Lamar the Texan. Hello, sir.
Howdy.
I don't think your hat's not low enough.
There you go. That better.
Last but not least, Clyde, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy National Podcast Day, if y'all didn't know.
Oh, shout out.
Not a clue.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Well played, man. Well played.
I know. So wait, are we a podcast? What the heck do you call us? I
mean,
literally go through this conversation every time.
We're a show.
If we're not a podcast in some form, we're on a podcast. So
That's very true. Very true. Got it. All right. All rambling aside, welcome. Let's go ahead and give the people what the people want. I need sound effects. Gosh, dog it.
You give the people. There you go.
That's they use that on Jalen and Jacoby.
Yep.
Give the people.
Now you
does.
ruined the moment.
I didn't.
Now the song is stuck in our heads with your voice, and we're done.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, so Clyde, every year, right around this time, everyone looks forward to your social media because specifically Facebook for us old people who like to do the Facebook, because you are notorious for giving these clips of chaos as they have been deemed. So specifically, if you are not in the know, for those of you out there, Clyde has perspectives on college football, actually on all football being played, but specifically college football in this aspect. So give us a chaos watch, sir.
Chaos Watch. Man, we're really doing this. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do Team Chaos last year. I was, out of the loop. But I hear you. So looking at the projection of this week's games coming up, this week's games are not that awesome, by the way. But if you're looking for Chaos Watch, I got 3 or 4 that will make sense, starting with on the West Coast, Oregon currently sitting at number 3. As I have said before, you're not going undefeated in the Pac-12. It just doesn't happen. And somehow, some way, no matter how good or bad Stanford is, it's usually a problem when Oregon goes to Stanford. Oregon is going to Stanford. I would definitely be on Chaos Watch for Oregon this weekend. Cincinnati is playing at Notre Dame. If I have that correct, I believe that is correct. Hold on. Yes, Cincinnati at Notre Dame.
First 1 to 12 wins.
Right. Even though Cincinnati is technically ranked higher than Notre Dame right now, most people would consider Cincinnati beating Notre Dame in Notre Dame an upset. I don't know anything about gambling or point spreads or anything like that, but either way, there's chaos guaranteed built into that game. I'll be personally rooting for Cincinnati. And then, of course, one of these two teams will be exposed as the fraud that they are this weekend, and that would be the SEC when Arkansas and Georgia meet up. Somebody will be exposed as being the pretenders. I'll leave it to you to decipher who's who. But those are my fourth and final chaos watch for the week is Michigan traveling to Wisconsin. I just don't buy it right now. So we'll see how Michigan looks, but Wisconsin's usually a tough out.
Not fearing the khakis.
Not fearing the khakis. I like Harbaugh. I think he actually gets a raw deal most of the time with people criticizing him. You know, it's like, who you going to get that's better? So,
I mean, that's an interesting, you know, I knew if we just left you alone, you were going to come up with an interesting nugget. Now, you, who is, I have dubbed like Papa Petty, you are willing to give a pass to a dude who literally was brought back to Michigan as the Messiah. He was literally brought back to Michigan to do one thing,
yes.
right? If they win a national championship, that would be awesome. But he was only brought to Michigan to do one thing, right?
Yes.
To stop Urban Meyer from curb stomping all of Ann Arbor.
Yes.
He has not failed at that. He has been so soundly unsuccessful that they were talking about running this dude out on a rail. But you think he gets a raw deal? Help me with that.
I don't think he should get a pass. You know, I'm not in the pass giving business. That is not my style. It is fair to criticize Harbaugh for his lack of ability to beat Ohio State
Or Penn State.
Urban Meyer or no Urban Meyer. I don't really care. They don't care who's coaching. They just want the win, right? All I'm saying is this. For all the people who are fans of Michigan and sick and tired of Harbaugh, I ask you, are you better off since he's been there, or are you worse? And who you gonna get that's better? If you don't have a solution to your problem, I'm not the one that really likes to listen to you complain. Jim Harbaugh's a good coach. He's done a good job. He ain't done a great job, but he's done a good job. You don't have anybody that's going to be better, so shut up and live.
So let me ask you this question. So is it okay to be a good coach at Michigan when you're expected to be a great coach at Michigan?
I don't know if Jim Harbaugh should be punished for Michigan's delusional place in the world of college football. I don't think that's his fault.
But isn't it, that's the expectation of the job?
I understand that.
Okay, so my thing is this: when you're hired to do a job and you don't do the job, and not only do you not do the job, you don't even come close to doing the job.
Not close.
I'm just saying. But I mean, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I hope he never figures it out. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so Ohio State fan.
I think he should stay there forever.
Okay, but in all seriousness,
contract for Harbaugh.
In all seriousness, Michigan ends up losing 2-3 games this year, as they probably will, whatever. They don't beat Ohio State this year, whatever. They fire Jim Harbaugh at the end of the year. Who's coming in that's going to get that job done? Who's coming in that's going to deliver a title to Michigan?
I'm not a football agent, but that is such an attractive job. It plays incredibly well. The big boys are going after the job. Right, because there were people that asked the same question before Ohio State fired whoever they fired and hired Urban Meyer, right? Because of the job and the attractiveness of the job, somebody pretty good is going to go after it. Now the question is, will they go get that somebody pretty good, or will they hire the Jim Harbaugh?
And that's the thing. Michigan's issue has always been the same as UCLA's issue. They only want to hire Wolverines or Bruins. Like that's the issue.
Is Chip Kelly
Harbaugh's No.
Okay.
Basketball.
Oh, okay.
UCLA basketball. But it's always the same issue, right? Like if Jim Harbaugh can't get it done, then no Wolverine can. Go find somebody else. Like that's where that's at.
Maybe.
I mean, look, if I was going to go truly petty, I would fire Harbaugh and hire Urban Meyer.
So we're done with that
Whoa.
I mean,
That's-
I'm just saying.
Urban
I mean,
Meyer.
Urban Meyer is going to be in Jacksonville for 2 more years.
So
So
let me throw some chaos out
I'm
there.
about to say, yeah, what y'all think of my
Let me
my
take,
chaos
I have never, will never be anywhere near as petty as my man Clyde. And clearly, judging from the past, he is the college football expert on this panel. But anyway, I am going to say, I think the Iowa-Maryland game has some interest of being chaotic. And the other game that I hope it doesn't turn out this way, but the Florida-Kentucky game could end up being a little bit chaotic. And I too like, I don't think that they're pretenders. I think they're 2 good teams, but I think the Arkansas-Georgia game will expose someone to not being quite as good as they think they are. Or maybe I think this one comes down to the coaching staffs for me. Like the game planning for that game will be interesting for me. And then the other game, I'm telling you, Alabama Ole Miss could get interested. That is, for me, that's the most chaotic possibility. Well, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but because it's Lane Kiffin,
See, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just never know.
I can't the lane train in Tuscaloosa. I can't do it. Now, if the game was in Oxford, that might have made my list. But
See, let me tell you why that's on my list. Because you saw what Dan Mullen's offense did to them.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's my shot at chaos this week. Should
Lamar,
be
was there?
The only
Lamar, is
one
there
I-
anybody you've missed?
definitely it concerns me because they have this venomous attitude about us. We've beaten them like 30 out of the last 31 times or something crazy. I know that's an exaggeration, Kentucky fans. I'm sorry, but that
I mean, is it though?
it's close, right? But like, I really think this one could get chaotic if we're not careful. It could be. We better be on our P's and Q's. Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily have a chaos watch. I have a Fugazi watch.
Oh boy.
Pretender watch.
I'm just gonna call it what it is. The Big Ten this year. Now look, y'all have heard me. Most of the time, the Big Ten is underrated, and it's one of the deepest conferences. I don't think the Big Ten has a legitimate national title contender in the conference.
Fair.
And I think that as the pundits will always do, they're going to try to manufacture one. But I mean, let's just be clear: if Iowa loses and Wisconsin beats Michigan, like we're pretty much Katie bar the door now, right? Now we're down to Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody else even has a shot. Ohio State always has a shot because it's Ohio State. But I just think that this is one of those odd years where I don't think that there's a national title contender in the Big Ten.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, Ohio State has a problem this year that they wouldn't have had in other years when it comes to the people that make the decisions and organize who gets the favor. Ohio State lost to the Pac-12. So
Right.
That in a couple months, ESPN's going to be on TV pushing that narrative. They are.
Pushing that narrative.
So,
Provided Oregon can be relevant in a couple of months.
Oregon can go undefeated, and if there's a debate about Ohio State getting in or not getting in, they're going to say, but they lost to the Pac-12. That's what they're going to say. That's what they all.
But it's like, they don't have to say it. It's the truth. It's not like they made it up.
But to say it as a negative,
create this narrative that doesn't exist. They did lose to the Pac-12.
Yes, that is a fact of reality. But what that means, be it a good thing or a bad thing, is a narrative that they will turn into a negative.
I'm not sure I understand, but I'm not
You understand?
I don't.
Pac-12 doesn't play football well.
That's the lie, yes. But
yes.
yeah.
Well, see, wait a minute, but the pack, whatever y'all are, has had.
Ain't no y'all. I have no affiliation.
You're a West Coast guy. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Whatever you guys are claiming to be, 9, 10, 12, whatever it is, like you guys have had people in the playoff. And have you guys won the national title?
They won many national titles, not in the BCS era.
Well, no, we're talking about the BCS.
Wasn't USC the beginning of the BCS era?
You might be right. Year 1, I think, maybe.
That was Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, I mean, first of all, that's a long time ago. That was when Pete Carroll was at USC.
When they beat Texas?
So long ago.
No, they didn't beat
Texas.
No, they lost to Texas.
Well, when they lost, that wasn't BCS. They haven't won a BCS, I don't think.
Oregon lost to Auburn in the era.
Yep. And Oregon got a curb stomped by Ohio State in the semifinal.
That's a different year, obviously.
Well,
maybe
yes.
I mean, so you guys have been in the playoff. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. Maybe other people say that. I don't say that they don't play good football in the Pac-12. I actually think they do play pretty good football in the Pac-12. I don't. Okay.
Lucius said it. I said ESPN says it because they do say it. It's on tape.
I don't think ESPN says the Pac-12 doesn't play good football.
They kind of do.
It's on tape.
They do kind of say that.
Just send me the tape because maybe I don't pay attention like you. See, I don't hear anybody saying those exact words, and neither do you. So, but anyway, I know that where this is going. The only league in this country that plays good football is the SEC, and that's why they get so many teams in. And then we get the teams in, and we whoop y'all's butts anyway. So, well, whatever.
Lamar, tell him. Tell him. You won't hear it from me. Tell him.
No, I'll hear from anybody if you present me with the tape.
No problem.
Until I hear the tape, and I hear it with my own ears. Okay. I do not disagree that the powers that be believe the SEC is the best football conference because I believe like they do that it is. But there are other good football teams and good football conferences out there. There are. I cannot deny that. And I don't think anybody in their right mind can. Is the Pac-12 a powerhouse conference? No, it is not.
Neither.
Well, so here's the weirdest narrative, though. Right?
In that conference, absolutely. Because I'm telling you now, Oregon right now playing as good as they are, they're a problem for anybody they face. Anybody. Especially
in the last
Oregon right at the beginning, right, Clyde?
In the last 7 or 8 years, right? The Pac-12 has been number 4 or number 5 in the Power 5. And what's odd about this year is I don't think anybody would argue right now the SEC is the number 1 Power 5 conference, but I don't think anybody would argue right now that the Pac-12 is the number 2 Power 5 conference. The ACC is way down, right? The Big 12 is always fugazi and they play no defense and can't beat anybody. And you have no because usually what happens is, right, you start with the Blue Bloods at the beginning of the year. You got Michigan and Ohio State every year in the Big Ten, right? And then they got 2 more good teams, Penn State and usually Wisconsin or Michigan State or somebody, right? Like this year, there's a definitive SEC power and a definitive Pac-12 power. After that, the other 3 Power 5 conferences,
right?
Literally it's
Now see, okay, so I'm not a Big Ten defender or anything like that, but Big Ten people who care and watch the show are pulling their brains out right now because right now Penn State's number 4, Iowa's number 5, Ohio State's number 11, and Michigan is number 14, and 3 of those 4 teams are undefeated. So
absolutely, and I've seen all of them play, and I'm telling you right now, none of them have a legitimate shot at the national title. I'm not agreeing with you on that.
One of them will find a way to go undefeated or lose just 1 game, and they will therefore be invited to the playoff.
Penn State will lose to Ohio State because that's what they do. And that's the wrong one to lose to because Ohio State lost to a Pac-12 team, as Clyde has already mentioned. Michigan's going to I know. Michigan's going to lose this weekend on the road to Wisconsin.
Oh, so you agree with my chaos watch on that?
Oh, I absolutely agree with that one. Wisconsin's a really hard place to win.
Anytime Michigan's with the chaos watch and they're on the wrong end of it, I'm always for that. I'm always with that. That's not a problem. Not at all. But see, I don't agree with Lamar that the Big Ten is that bad. I think that there is at least one legitimate football team in every conference. Not quite sure. I like Oklahoma is intriguing, but I can't figure out what their issue is right now. I still think my Buckeyes are going to find a way to win the Big Ten. At least that's what my heart says. But when it comes to the ACC, they're the only league out there right now that I'm not sure that there's legitimate contender in, because they just continue to be all over the place. Everybody thought North Carolina was going to be very good, and they've kind of fallen apart. Clemson is nowhere near what Clemson usually is.
They have no offense, and I don't understand that.
Which exactly nothing. None of that makes sense, right? And then I don't even know who else is in the league because they're all beating up on each other. Yeah.
So that's my issue, I think, with the Big Ten. It's not that I don't think they have any good football teams. I don't think they have one or two teams that can curb stomp the rest of the league. Therefore, right now you got two teams in the top 5, right? In 8 weeks, I don't see that.
Yeah, we could see. And the key for me with the Big Ten is, okay, from watching, I'm not going to dog Michigan because they have been playing good football, but I don't think they haven't played anybody of substance. Iowa has been kind of the grind and the bump and grind deal, and Penn State is just kind of, they haven't, like, they're undefeated, but they haven't found a niche though, right? So I think with the Big Ten, we got to give it a few more weeks to see if somebody steps to the forefront and says, I am the dominant team. But there are some good football teams in the Big Ten. And again, Ohio State hasn't lost to a Big Ten school, right? So we still got to give them their props because they still have a chance to be the best team in the conference. But if somebody in the college spirit forgot how to play offense, I'll tell them that. Yeah,
because I can tell you this right now. Purdue and Illinois are both going to upset somebody they're not supposed to because they can both play defense at a high level. Like Purdue's probably got like 6 pros on their defense.
Wait, didn't Illinois just upset Purdue? Pretty sure.
No, that's not an upset. That's two average teams. I'm talking about somebody they beat somebody they're not supposed to. Illinois playing Purdue is like that's a slap fight between armless men.
Like, you're not making any sense here, young man.
I made perfect sense.
Oh goodness! All right.
Nobody cares when they play each other,
except for Indiana and Illinois. So those
right.
2 people. Same topic. Switch the lane. I'm gonna respectfully call it perspectives of the NFL teams. Then.
Wow. Well, first of all, LA Rams are for real, right? I do caution them on celebrating too much or messing with the GOAT. And yes, I did call him that because that's who that dude is. And about halfway through the 4th quarter, they were celebrating a little bit. I'm like, no, not with that guy, because you're going to see him again and he's not going to forget, right? But to that point, they did win the game and it was a great game. But what Tom Brady does at 44 years old is absolutely ridiculous. One of the announcers said he might play till he's 50. And I can't disagree with him.
I think he said that. He's made that comment at this point.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. I think there's my Browns are playing well. A little baffled with what happened with Kansas City. The wheels kind of come off of them a little bit. I still think Mahomes is kind of crazy. The project or whatever you call it, experiment in Jacksonville is, I think they're winning tonight though, but it's not going very well for them right now. And then the other team that's been ultra expressive for me was Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they are really playing good football. They are.
We cannot tolerate cowboy praise around here. We can't turn into that show.
Amen.
They're not playing good football? Are they playing good football?
Not really, but
really,
yeah, they are.
They're playing good football relative to the division.
You can't be that much of a hater all your life.
Look. I don't want to hear anything about the Cowboys until like they win a playoff game or something.
Okay, look,
I understand.
I didn't say they were going to the Super Bowl. I didn't say they were going to make the playoffs. I said as of today, they're playing good football.
Well,
Now, we all know it's the Cowboys, and a week from now, they might fall off the ledge. But as of today, I've been very impressed with not just it's both sides of the ball. Their game plan, their scheming's been better. You know, Dak looked phenomenal last week. Can't discount that. You know, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm
Dak played well. I know no trust with Dak.
Yeah, I'm giving credit where credit's due.
True. If you ask for a perspective of the fledgling NFL season, it's simple. I got a little chant for you. West is best. West is best. The AFC West and the NFC West are by far the best divisions in football right now. The teams are playing incredible. Hell, the Chiefs are 1 and 2 and in last damn place. That's how good the AFC West is right now. So West is best. And of course, listen, I actually, you know, I like the Rams. I thought they played a hell of a game. You know, at the end of the day, I'm still taking Brady in January and February. So
nobody's surprised at that.
You know what I mean? But it was a very well played game. I will say this. A lot of people in the offseason didn't fully there was a lot of criticism of the Rams gave up too much in the Jared Goff deal. No, they didn't. Because Matthew Stafford on that roster, totally different. And it's very, very obvious. So they're gonna make a hell of a run. It came out, I think it was today. Here's how good Brady is. They took the L. He's not happy about it. They're going to play New England this weekend, which I am here for, right? In the downtime, Brady picks up a phone and gets Richard Sherman to sign with the Bucs. So they're gonna run this back.
So, that's not happening again.
he's playing chess 16 weeks away right now. So it's yeah, but no, that's my perspective. West is best right now. It's the teams in the West have been very, very impressive, and my God, the AFC South is pitiful. Pitiful. The Colts, the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Titans. Pitiful.
Yes. I love the NFL. I pay exorbitant amounts of money for DirecTV solely because of the NFL ticket. If they didn't have any other channels, but they still had all the rights to NFL ticket, I'd be $800 a month if I had to, because I love NFL football. So I'm gonna give a truly informed perspective on this. For sure, West is best. I am enjoying the people who are falling off of the Chiefs bandwagon, because that is hilarity to me. Look, I'll say it right now. The Chiefs and the Bucs are going to repeat in the Super Bowl.
That's interesting.
It's so early. People forget there's 17 games this year. You know, they're a incredibly ballsy call by Harbaugh away from being 2-1. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception in the fourth quarter. Wait for that to happen again. You'll be here for a while. So at the end of the day, I think the Raiders are the most improved NFL team from last year. I think that the Cowboys actually look smart for paying Dak Prescott. They have holes on defense the size of a truck, but Dak Prescott is going to lead them to victories that Andy Dalton and whoever else followed in his footsteps last year after he got hurt were never, ever going to do. And I mean, I give the Cowboys credit. They're taking advantage of a terrible division. My Giants are in it. I mean, two of the worst teams in the NFL are the Giants and the football team. So, right. The AFC East, I think the Patriots are way overhyped and much ballyhooed, and that's gonna that dude is gonna be off that rose here real quick. Buffalo has a sputtering offense, but I think that they'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, I do believe in the NFL, the old adage that the greatest harbinger for success is past success. This is the ultimate in petty to me. I can't believe you didn't pick up on this one. Brady has beaten 99 head coaches, which first of all is an insane number and a record by 30 coaches. If they win this weekend, he is going to beat Bill Belichick as the 100th coach, which is, that's not lost on Brady.
No. Oh, he knows. He knows. He knows.
And at the end of the day, Brady is definitely playing chess, not checkers. He doesn't I won't say doesn't care that they lose, but losing a regular season game in week 3, that's not a blip on the screen. How we lost, what do we need to fix? Okay, Sherm, what you doing? You want to come get this money? Sounds good, right? I mean, let's be clear. Richard Sherman and Rob Gronkowski would be retired if it was not for playing with Tom Brady, right? So this dude literally is just making calls with
Antonio Brown.
I mean, he could get right Antonio Brown too. He could probably get Tony Gonzalez to come off the couch. Hey, you want to play tight end if somebody gets hurt? So I don't think anybody's got a shot of. Look, I know the Rams are playing well this year. Here's why I can't root for the Rams. And I know because I went to Cal, people think that I'm a Jared Goff lover. I'm definitely not. But here's what I'll say. It is so disrespectful to that young man to treat him like trash when he played in a Super Bowl and they lost. Because now, this is what people need to understand. I don't care what the Rams do in any regular season game or any playoff game. If they don't get to and win the Super Bowl, that trade was wrong. And the reason I say that is because, look, you had a guy that got you to the Super Bowl and lost, and he's young. So you got older and supposedly better. The only way you win that trade is if they get to the Super Bowl and win. So I don't care what the Rams do until we get to the playoffs. And until somebody shows me they can beat Brady in the cold months, and until somebody shows me that they can beat Patrick Mahomes in the cold months, I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying that the teams that are better, Denver's much better than they have been. Denver also just played the Jets. You could look good doing that.
So my question is so then you're predicting that the Chiefs are going to make history because if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about this during one of the games that I don't think anybody's ever started 1-2 and made the playoffs. Or made it to the Super Bowl.
Made it to the Super Bowl.
Well,
yes, I do.
So you're predicting they're going to make the
that's one of those weird stats that they throw out because there's never been a 17-game season either. So
right.
Any of that makes absolutely no sense right now. But I get it. Look, here's Lamar. I do not disagree with you about the realities of the Goff trade. Yes, the Rams must win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford,
yes,
or you lose the trade. Because that literally is the benchmark. I don't even blame the Super Bowl loss on Jared Goff.
Me neither.
Wasn't his fault.
Me neither.
But it's clear that Stafford's a better option. He's a better player. So,
well, what was the Rams record last year?
They had a ton of injuries. I don't remember, but I feel like they were middle 8-8 or close to that, something like that.
And because I don't know, I'm asking. Is there the rhetoric out there that it was Goff's fault that they were bad, or maybe Goff and the head coach don't get along?
So the rhetoric was not that they necessarily didn't get along. The rhetoric was they can't do the things they really wanted to do with the offense because Jared Goff is limited.
Jared Goff is limited as it pertains to. So okay, McVay is, we'll say Big Blue in the chess world, right? His brain is this big, he remembers everything, right? He has a normal brain quarterback that was not anywhere near like he was great when they went to the Super Bowl, but in McVay's mind, the following year he should have been better. He wasn't. Right. So it's like he's limited with like I'm limited with what I can do with my big brain because the guy that runs the plays can't keep up. And supposedly like that's the love affair between McVay and Stafford is like Stafford supposedly has a what's those like photographic memory as well. So these two dudes are like sitting there talking about, you know, like in 2016, you remember the second play in like the playoff game between such and such and such and such. And they're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So evidently they're having this brain masturbation together. So, I mean, look, it all sounds great. I'm not going to lie. I really do believe sometimes that quarterbacks get too much praise and too many problems.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, look, at the end of the day, the quarterback head coach combination is really what should be compared. You know, we'll never know whether Brady made Belichick or Belichick made Brady, but at the end of the day, we know together they're unstoppable. Because here's the thing, like people forget this. Like, look, Belichick won Super Bowls without Brady. Brady's won a Super Bowl without Belichick. So like, let's not go crazy with that narrative. People forget, like Bill Belichick was, dude, he has rings from playing from the Giants.
Oh,
like,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the okay. Because I was gonna be like, nah, you so wrong.
No, I know from whence I speak. I'm just saying, like
that's a cute little dance.
Those two people notwithstanding, I think anytime you're dealing with a quarterback rating, it's got to be a combination of quarterback and coach. Because like Joe Montana is great, and I think he's one of the greatest. If he doesn't go to San Francisco, right, with that guy, right, we might not know who he is. If Aaron Rodgers goes to New England, hell, they may have won more Super Bowls. Well, like, you just never know.
So that's the point that you brought up earlier that I wanted to get to about people and their viewpoint of the Chiefs. I like Andy Reid, I always have. I root for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a phenomenal player. But I most definitely have Chiefs fatigue because the Chiefs have been elevated to a status that makes absolutely zero sense. They won one ring, and people are calling them a dynasty.
I mean, they played for two, though.
I don't care about none of that. They won one ring, one time. And people are throwing around the word dynasty. I'm sorry. The level of disrespect, dude, there was a real conversation going on last year that if the Chiefs could somehow have won that game, was Patrick Mahomes a threat to Brady's legacy? Like, are you crazy? Are you insane? No.
I mean, it's too early. It's not a crazy question, though.
It is a crazy question because it's too early. Early. It's like you're not even.
I mean, it's too early. It's way too early.
The start line. You're like outside the stadium, and people are asking, "Is he in the race?" Like, no. So I have Chiefs fatigue. I'm personally enjoying seeing them struggle and being at the bottom. I don't think it's going to last very long.
Not at all.
But Justin Herbert is a very serious problem. Justin Herbert's a very serious problem. I don't know if the Raiders can keep this up or the Broncos, but the Chargers, Justin Herbert is very, very good.
I mean, the NFL is in great hands in the quarterback position.
Sure.
Because Lamar and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, like as we lose Brady eventually, as we lose Rodgers eventually, as we've already lost Lil Cat from New Orleans, we lost Breeze, right? The young cats are, I mean, let's not forget, if he ever plays again, Deshaun Watson is really, really good at football.
He'll play. Just not in Houston. That's all. Just
not in Houston. So, like, you know, those Canada, 5 or 6 dudes
maybe.
Oh my God.
No, he'll play in the NFL. Stop that.
Oh man.
Save us.
So the Rams went 10-6 last year.
So they were absolutely awful.
They finished second in the NFC West. So, whew. But okay, so let's completely change the interstate at this point and go a little bit of the professional side of what we do, not necessarily as track and field aficionados per se, but just as a profession. We obviously saw a big spike in Zoom participation, web clinics, whatever they're called. And each of us, literally each of us, participated, led, and attended different type calls, virtual symposiums, if you would. What do we see as the benefits and maybe the discounts in a virtual clinic and an actual in live person physical clinic as clinicians, not as participants, not as the audience, not as the recipients of information, but of which delivering information?
I don't know what the difference is. I mean, the delivery is the delivery, whether you're on a screen, whether you're in the room. I think that just comes down for me to the person making the delivery. And as a clinician, as someone that's imparting information, my job is to impart that information no matter what the forum I'm in. I think for me, what it does is gives more people access, because it's a lot easier to plug in your computer or your iPad and log into something than get on a plane and go book a hotel room, right? So I think economically, it's obviously a lot better. And I think you may have to be a little more creative sometimes when it's via, from the electronic side of it, but it shouldn't make a difference. I mean, if you're the clinician and you got a message to send, you should be able to send it just as well, whether you're on a Zoom or sitting in a room with somebody.
I want to jump in there because I think your comment was actually perfect. Access. The thing I've been accused of lovingly by you and honestly by many others is we've given the entire world probably 500% more access, not to embarrass you, but to you. Like the Zoom nation, like the Zoom calls have brought, Michael Dwayne Holloway, aka Sir Lucius, into
government.
Hey, you stay in your lane. He knows what I'm doing. That's my guy. That's a long-standing deal with us. But we've brought Sir Lucius into a great number of people's homes, lives, computer screens that honestly never would have had access to him or would never have had the stones to try to acquire access to him. And so I think access is exactly the right word. Like what Zoom has done is given people access to information and bearers of information that maybe they might not have had before. But now that Zoom has broken that ice, I think everybody's kind of fearless in that regard. You want information? Like, go figure it out. Speaking of which, Sir Lucius, I've had two people ask me to ask you about possibility of shadowing you, because we brought that up on the JS episode. So
okay,
we'll talk about that offline.
Wait, so Lamar, I need you to switch your seat. That wasn't the question. The question was from the clinician's point of view, not the audience or the recipients.
Okay, so access, from my perspective, goes the other way, right? Now we'll use Sir Lucius again. He is always talking about the next generation and how do we positively affect that group. He now has an opportunity in the Zoom world to actually reach, educate, connect with a great number of younger coaches who are probably several levels from ever like being in the same room as him. And so I think what the Zoom era, because that's what I call this now, it has eliminated the barriers to access and eliminated the barriers to people that you can actually connect with. I mean, what I thought was one of the greatest things about,
I want to stop you because you're not in the right seat.
I am in the right seat.
You're not in the right seat because you're talking about the access to the clinicians, and you're doing this, and I'm asking you to do this. So what is the benefit of the discount of you having led Coaches Collab Zoom calls, having led your podcast that you have? What is the benefit of sitting in that seat for Zoom, or discount for Zoom, or benefit for being in person, or discount for being in person as sitting on the stage on the podium?
What I was trying to get across, which evidently I wasn't doing a good job, is that, okay, slow down.
Clyde got it.
Being on the podium, so to speak, but in a Zoom perspective, allows the room to be much bigger. So like, I don't know, what's Ben's last name? I always mess it up.
Walk.
One more time.
Walk. W-A-C-H. Watch. He's gonna be like, no, it's watch.
Right.
Anyway,
so Ben Walk is a perfect example. I would never ever have known who he was, and now I think greatly of his skills, talents, and knowledge base, because I was able as a clinician to reach that young man, and I would never have met him if it wasn't for Zoom.
So
Great answer.
So yes, as Lucius likes to say, you went
Anyway.
a long way around that block, but you landed. And I agree. As a clinician, the big positive, I'll add one to that, to the Zoom era, is access and efficiency. It's a very efficient way to communicate and disseminate information. But I got to tell you, I don't enjoy it. I tolerate it because it's necessary. And now that we have all learned how efficient Zoom can be, or video chats can be, whatever medium you use, they're obviously here to stay. They're not going to go anywhere. So for me, it has made me more appreciative of the in-person, the live, the actually being on a dais. And it's harder and more rewarding to captivate an audience live. Zoom is cheap because I don't really have to listen. I can turn my video off. I can act like I'm listening. I can multitask. Like, you don't really have my attention unless I really want to give it to you. And talking to 50 or 100 people on a Zoom, you're not even aware how many people's attention you really have. But if you're on a stage or in an in-person setting, you know whether or not what you're saying is connecting to your audience. And to me,
I kind of disagree, because I think that either way you have that issue. And also, if someone's going to connect to a Zoom to listen to a clinician, I would assume that they're there because they want to have the information. The same way, if they step into the auditorium, they're there because they want to get the information. So therefore, they would pay attention.
Okay, so I'll give you a real world example. I won't use the names because that would just be mean. We've all been to the convention, and you pick like, oh, so and so is speaking, I'm gonna go watch that. And sometimes they're awesome and sometimes they suck, but either way, you're there, right? If I choose to go listen to Sir Lucius give me a Zoom presentation, I went in there wanting the information, but if he sucks, I can just hit a button and he ain't even gonna know that I left. You see what I'm saying? So it's harder to hold and captivate, and it's a bigger reward, for me at least, in person than it is electronically.
I just believe that if you want the information bad enough, whether it's in person or on the Zoom, that's on the person. And okay, so just like if you go to a presentation and it sucks, you can hit a button and jump out. You can also get up, walk out the room.
Yeah, but most people won't.
Yeah, but so then they're in that part of the group that's sitting there not paying attention. But I think the question here is the value of it. Like, you know,
That's what I'm saying. I think,
but if you're asking, this is just my opinion, right? I think it's up to the clinician to be able to disseminate the information. And if I'm just me, you know, maybe I'm different. I'm going to be just as captivating on the Zoom as I am going to be on the stage. Not going to be any different.
well, I think we all would agree with that point about you, but some people just really aren't. And so I think
It's not going to be captivating either way then, are they?
no, I've literally experienced people both ways who are terrible on these kind of situations, but very, very good in person, and vice versa. Some people are dry as hell in person, but do better in the comfort of, you know, whatever this Zoom situation is. You know, listen, there's very few superstars in communication. You so happen to be one of them. It is what it is. As a presenter, I feel that I hope Chu agrees that I answered the question. I agree with the access, and for me, the larger value is expediency. The larger D value is that personal connection. I can honestly tell you, I mean, I don't consider what we do here, because y'all are my people, and this is, you know, we plan for this. Like, we're not talking to an audience live on Zoom. We do what we do, and our audience sees it later. I can't really remember watching a Zoom and feeling moved. I watch people in real life and I've been moved. I haven't had that experience on Zoom. And maybe that says something about me as an audience member.
Or maybe it's who you're watching.
Or
both.
To my point. So I agree with you as a presenter. It's your job to be captivating no matter what. Please believe that's your job. Like, so you better find a way to deliver. But some people won't deliver the same in every medium. It's no different from a recording artist. Some people sound amazing when you listen to their music, and then you see them live and like, shit, they can't sing at all. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And so I specifically brought this question up because we're seeing the return to some in-person events. Obviously from the get back in March of 2020, everyone was like, we need to get back in person for this, that, and the third, every event possible. And, you know, as clinicians, I don't know that we've always been regarded as the people who are making the sacrifice to come back to in-person or to stay on Zoom. And definitely there are those who are capitalizing financially and exposure-wise to the technological world and doing these things. And honestly, kudos, because whether it's good information or bad information, it's information that's being delivered and deciphered. And what I don't like saying the words bad information anymore, because there's always a piece that you can use, whether it's a piece that you stay away from or a piece that you utilize. That's up to you and the discretion of the situations that you're in. But I think it very much so, all three tiles hit on the fact that you've got to find the people that you connect with. You've got to find the material that you connect with. And you yourself have to be active, even though that wasn't part of the question. That was the common thread, is the clinicians have to be engaging and you yourself have to be receptive to it. So I think, speaking to what you were saying, Clyde, this younger, or maybe it was Lamar, I apologize. Speaking to the younger group, the younger coaches, even just the biologically younger people, they're still one up on us. And now we've caught on to their black screen with first and last names, and they were putting pictures. And now they're putting, get this, Sir Lucius, what is that called? Looping videos. So you and I are sitting here nodding, smiling, giggle here and there, and that's a 5-second loop. And that same loop is happening over and over again. And they're using that as they're engaged, so they get participation, or so that they feel the speaker doesn't feel neglected. So.
And you know what's funny about that? It's really, I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad. For me, I feel like it's bad, but I know other people will argue against me on that, not necessarily y'all, but technology is awesome, and these type of skills and learning how to do these things, these are, you know, they are skills to be learned. But you know what, as the younger people are getting better and better at their tech skills, they're getting worse and worse at their interpersonal skills, and that's a big ass problem.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I wish we could evolve in both ways, but we seem as a society to be devolving in how to deal with people in real life as we get great at faking it on the internet. And that, to me, I just feel like that's going to cause people problems at some point.
Yeah, I guess, you know, in reflection of what you just said, very quick at the end of an education course after a clinic or whatever to say, shoot me an email versus give me a call, or having that half-hour conversation post physical clinic. So yeah, I get that. And there's a time and a place. I think that's to be noted. There's a time and a place for an email, call, or a text, or a live conversation. So anyhow, thank you for entertaining that, because I think that was something that needed to be said out loud from the clinician perspective, not from the audience perspective, because they talk too much. But anyways, rounding out the questions, and this year we wanted to come back to a reflective question to be posed in regards to professionalism for coaches. Again, going back into different seats than what we've been in before, or recently anyways. What is the professional role of assistant coaches? So take that on the spectrum wherever you want to.
See, I think everybody's gazing at me, expecting me.
I will go first, actually, if you don't want to go first.
I mean, I don't mind going first. I just, whatever. I'll go first. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. So
Everybody's waiting with bated breath for your response.
How to get your job, the job under you.
I think that the first role as any assistant coach in any situation is to make the head coach job easier, and that's a simple one, right? And it doesn't get any simpler than that. And then the other job of the assistant coach is to see and understand the vision of the head coach, and not go to in any situation trying to create your own vision or your own narrative. And in track and field, it's difficult sometimes, because as an assistant coach, you're in charge of your own area most times, and you have your own deal, so to speak, but you still have to operate with the head coach's vision. And the other thing as an assistant coach you have to understand is you're an assistant coach, and your job is to do as the head coach your boss asked you to do. And that gets a little bit iffy sometimes for people in track and field. We've talked about the whole I want to be a head coach deal. The better head coaches are the ones that knew how to be great assistant coaches. So support your head coach, understand your head coach, understand the vision of the program, and carry out that vision every day. And I think you'll be very successful as an assistant coach. Those are very important for me anyway.
You like to close, sir?
You know, you're a newly minted head coach, so I'm gonna squeeze between the two head coaches here. For one, I want to applaud Sir Lucius, because I think the most important thing for an assistant coach to do is to make the head coach look good. I think 1B to that is,
and I want that's not what's. I didn't say I don't need anybody to make me look good. Your job is to make my job easier. Take stuff off of my, put it on.
Yes. And words matter, because you said what I meant, but I didn't use those words. You are correct.
Thank you. I appreciate you cleaning that up for me.
I got no problems with it. I think the 1B to that is to take as many things off of the head coach's plate. And here, listen, turn up your volume when I say this, that the head coach would like for you to take off of their plate. You don't get to choose what you want to take off the plate. Then that's when you're being rogue and trying to run your own program. But there are things on every head coach's plate that they probably do not really want to do, or better yet, probably shouldn't need to do. And it is your job to ask the right questions and do the right things as it pertains to taking those things off of the head coach's plate. You probably shouldn't ask for or look to take the budget off of the head coach's plate. That's not a thing. But you may be able to help take equipment off of the plate, or to be a direct liaison to compliance and or admissions. But these are things you have to ask. They're different from head coach to head coach and different from program to program. But one of your goals should be to be user-friendly enough such that if your head coach comes into your office and slides a piece of paper across your desk, that you can take said piece of paper and make that problem go away. That should be your job. Because let's be clear, if you want to know the difference between being a head coach and assistant coach, is whose hand is on that paper first and whose hand is on that paper last. The head coach gets to walk into your office, push a piece of paper across the desk and say, make it so. You don't get to do that.
I like all of that. I agree with all of that. For me, I want assistant coaches to create solutions, not problems.
Let the church say amen.
So, you know, at the end of the day, literally every piece of a program, the head coach, the director, whatever you want to call it, we are responsible for. If assistant X was given a task by me and they screwed the task up, it's my head that's going to have to deal with it anyway. So I want my people to, you know, be solution oriented. And, you know, some head coaches are open to ideas, some aren't. Either way, everybody's open to solutions.
Ooh.
So, you know, if I have a team of people who are trustworthy and constantly give me solutions to problems, streamline things, make my world easier, more efficient, that's going to make for everybody to be happier and do our jobs better. And so as an assistant, that was always my aim, is to be solution orientated and deliver when given a task. And that's what I would expect of anybody, you know, in my charge.
Nice.
Big League, what's your perspective on that?
So the big word there is simplicity, right? And to speak to the thing as a whole, do the job you're asked to do. As Clyde said, create solutions, not problems. And by creating solutions, the solutions are to the things that the head coach gives you to do. Don't create problems by trying to do something that you're not asked to do. Sorry, Big League, I didn't mean to talk over you. I apologize.
No, that's okay. No, obviously I agree with all of that, and I've all heard pieces of that, if not verbatim, those things from all of your mouths in conversations of how to make myself a better assistant coach. But I would say one common thing in that too is your tone of delivery. You know, when you're endorsing your head coach and the message and the method and the philosophy of which they impart onto their team, the tone of which you deliver it, the tone of which you deliver papers back to their desk, the tone of which you stand on your own 2 feet and impart your wisdom. And that's a part of their culture. It can't be backhanded, it can't be slighted, it can't be, well, this is what coach so-and-so wants. That tone doesn't have continuity to it. That's me, then you. So in agreement with everything, it's the tone and how you deliver that said message too. Because I don't know how many times I've heard, well, my coach wants, and this is what my coach says, which is the right message. But the way you say it and how you present it is not a productive, progressive manner, put it that way. I don't know, I think that'd be the one thing that I would key into that. So,
That's it.
well,
Come on with your stuff. I know you ready. Go ahead.
me?
Yeah, and I'm in the chair, right?
Oh, I thought you meant more. I was like, that's all I have. I don't have any more. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so funny.
Yeah, sorry, I was one step behind. I apologize. Yeah. So this one, it's a fun one. Well, I thought it was fun. When I thought of the questions, I thought I laughed.
Every time you give a soft presentation the week before, I always get the bullet. Last week you were soft, so go ahead.
No, this is a soft one, I think. All right. Having had California ties and roots, did you ever have a 24-hour fitness membership?
Wow, yeah, I did actually.
Yes.
I don't think I went in that place not one time either.
True to form. What is your top go-to track book?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That is a great question. Well, that's a great question. I've honestly probably spent more time in Ralph Mann's book than anything else. I'm a nerd. I like nerdy stuff, and it's if that is your way, that's right up your alley. And in the other one, nah, yeah, well, and the tutor bumper periodization, a lot of time in that one as well. Not so much as Ralph's, but those would probably be my main two. But of course, anytime you ask me about a book that's even remotely related to track, I'm going for this one.
I was gonna have to steer the conversation on that one. I love it. Okay, as a teenager, what was the largest pant size you ever bought?
Now, see, that's a really unfair question because I am an '80s baby.
I know,
and I'm a millennial, so I grew up in the way too big clothes era, and I'm pretty sure in like middle school I had some pants that were like size 42.
I knew it. That's literally what I just said in my head. I was like, definitely a 42.
Oh
Yep.
my god!
Really stupid.
Oh my god!
Bro, you already know. Look, that's what it was. And let me be clear. I would much rather be a teenager child in my era wearing size 42 than in this era wearing size 6. Because that's
I mean, amen to that as well. I cannot do skinny jeans, shortened pants,
low cut. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that men's clothes are not supposed to be tight. Fit, yes. Yeah. Tight, no.
I mean, we steady rock the Jinko 42s with the braided belt and then the letter what's it called? Belt thing.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, moving on. Have you ever rode in a cable car?
Oh, of course.
Got it.
Everybody should be in a cable car.
Everyone should, but everyone local to San Francisco has not, believe it or not. Your most memorable race that you participated in, win or loss?
I feel like you asked me this before.
Yeah, you asked me.
Did I? Okay, then Ixnay. That's probably why it came back up.
Yes.
In your documentary, who is the narrator?
Wait, someone that I want, or someone I like, someone I could actually get, or
no.
fantasy narrator?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's got to be Morgan Freeman. It's got to be Morgan Freeman. But it's gonna be Tiana, which is just as good. So I'm good.
I mean, Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish.
No. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman.
And on this day, Charles Ryan. No, I'm just kidding.
James Earl Jones.
That's not a bad other choice.
We know that you're a sucker for pasta. You've mentioned this a few times. What type of pasta is the winner? Like what noodle?
Oh, that depends on what, which dish you're having. The noodle is tied to the dish. So yeah, it changes. It's
okay. So what's the one that you can do any time of day, any day of the week?
Fusilli.
Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Okay. Well, my portion.
I understand. Go ahead.
My portion is done.
I understand, sir. I understand.
Okay, I have to
Move
explain
on.
myself to our audience. I'm sorry. Every now and again, we obviously have a group chat, as any four people who spend as much time together as we do would have. Every now and again, someone slides something in the group chat during the show that causes a little chuckle or a smile, and then we like to look at each other, laugh as they read it. Somebody sucker punched me. I'm not going to tell you who of these four or who of these three. Somebody sucker punched me with something in the group chat that legitimately made me almost blow snot bubbles. So I'm sorry for my lack of professionality. I love all of you. Just trust me and trust and believe. If you could see what I saw, you would have had the same reaction as I did.
I mean, are we allowed to expose that?
No.
I'll do it on Friday when I post the video. When I post the
Go.
the thing. That's really funny.
Oh my God.
Well played. I'll say that. Well played.
That was tremendous.
Okay, so we just tell everybody it was me? So just that we just did.
You did.
We just told everybody.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Guys, come on.
Well, wait till Friday, and when Chew shows y'all what Sir Lucius put in the group chat. Just trust and believe you will blow snot bubbles as well, because that is hilarious.
But it was very appropriate for the situation.
Oh, it was 5,000,000% appropriate for the conversation.
I'm literally gonna have to wait like an hour or two after I post the show.
Now, look,
that way it makes
Lamar
sense.
is not going to be able to recover in time for his question of me.
Yeah,
Lucius, what do you have?
Okay, so I just want to know, you've been on the job almost a month now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
about that. Right.
And so in your first month, what has been the most intriguing thing you found about your team as a whole?
I've been a part of a lot of transitions.
Mm-hmm.
This group of kids might be the most, not might be, they are the most willing for a transition that I've ever seen. Like, I'm not having to spend a lot of time working on buy-in. Like, they're bought in. And I say that across the board. It's not even, just the people that I specifically deal with on a daily basis, like the throwers, the distance runners, all of them. Like, it was a proper time for a transition, and they are excited about the transition. I've never seen a transition of new coaching arrivals move so smoothly. Now, hopefully it stays that way, but I've been very impressed with the team in that regard. They are, they're here for it, and
awesome.
I appreciate that.
I like where that went, so I'll stay in that vein, because I think that we try to do a good job of educating. So like we have an experience opportunity to share with others. So let's take that. First 30 days, what do you think is the most important thing that you've accomplished? And in the first 90 days, what is the most important thing that you plan to tackle?
Structure is the thing that I've accomplished, or that we are constantly accomplishing day to day. Like, you'd be amazed at how much little things really mean to a group of young people that haven't had it. Like, the idea that they know when they are meant to come and go for the whole year already versus finding it out week to week. The fact that they know where their schedule is going to be already, like the fact that they have specific expectations and know what that looks like. Structure, when there has not been structure, is very, very important. And I've spent an exorbitant amount of my time trying to make sure that everybody understood that there is going to be structure and focus and, you know, a plan in place. Most young people who come to college to do sports, whether they know it directly or inherently just feel it, like they want to be led in a direction that they can believe in. They wouldn't be there otherwise. So, you know, structure is very, very important. First 90 days, I hope by the time we get to 90 days that the vision that I have laid out is being executed well by myself and the staff that I've put in place. Because if it's not, then their enthusiasm for the structure that we have laid out will wane, and you don't want that. So staff is in place. We are moving forward with all the structural changes and fixes and improvements, and everybody is on the right page right now, and that's exciting for me. Year one is always the strangest when it comes to literal performances and what you're going to get, because, you know, these people didn't come here to run for you. You didn't recruit these people. Everybody's new. Everybody's forging relationships. Everybody's learning what's what. And year one is going to be what it's going to be. But for me, my expectations are what they always are, which is to take everybody that I deal with and make them better athletes. So I expect what I expect every season: lifetime best, and for the investment that we are physically and mentally capable of. And then year two will be better. So that's where we're at.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. I like it. Well, rapid fire is officially closed. Good job, sir. Moving on to heartbeat props. We again have found a collective heartbeat props to give and raise up and just kind of shine in the light. So our beloved youngest fan, and I legitimately think he's our youngest fan, Mr. Micah Peary, had a birthday last weekend, I believe it was. So Micah, my guy, happy birthday, sir.
Happy
birthday, Micah.
Right? That's so awesome. And we didn't go to the birthday party, but we're having a little birthday party for you here. So
yep.
And so we hope you enjoyed yourself. And if you're not watching right now, I'm sure Dad's gonna go run and grab you to bring you in front of the screen. So but other than that, gentlemen, great show as always, literally great show. And we started off with some funny stuff, but definitely shine some light on some things, especially with our ever again still spinning in revolutions coaching carousel. Literally another turn this week, right? So for those who are aspiring to move up or even just get better as professionals, you definitely should have been able to take something, at least one thing, away from this week's episode. But without further ado, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time as always. Love you long time. Everyone else have a great week.
Oh boy.
And we'll see each other.
Oh,
know, that's my sign off. Okay, it's either that or bye, Felicia. So I'll sign off on the second one. Have a great week, everyone. Bye, Felicia's.
When the lights come on, the roaches get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's pacing, we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wally, Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass or fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.